This is from CBS Sports. One underappreciated player on every AFC team. And for the Browns, they go Rodney McLeod. I agree with this. The former Rams and Eagles veteran proved with Colts 2022, still got savvy, deep touch, post-career highs, tackles 96, pass breakups 8. Also paid dividends for locker room leadership. Type of role player who can truly help you go places. And Jeff, I'd push back. I don't think he's going to be a role player. I think he's going to be on the field quite a bit because Jim Schwartz is really comfortable with him, and in Jim Schwartz's defense, he has been an elite safety.
There's an interesting thought process we've been talking about a little bit here. And we've always, it's not that Grant Delpit can't kind of do everything, but it always seems, Grant Delpit, is good, better moving forward. So if you really like McLeod, and obviously they really, really like Juan Thornhill, why not, if you went to a dime situation, and they're talking about possibly playing 5 defensive linemen a lot, we'll see if that works out and they're able to do that. Then you could maybe even say, well, let's maybe use Grant Delpit as a pseudo dime linebacker. Size-wise, there really is no difference between Grant Delpit and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Mm-hmm. There's not. So you have McLeod, and for McLeod, it's kind of cheating here. Because he walks in here, and he's like, oh, wow, you guys busting your butts, huh? Playbook, huh? All that stuff. Yep, never right. Well, I've already been here. I've already done it. I know the verbiage. And also, but keep in mind, this was a guy with PFF grade last year of north of 80 last year.
Yep.
So he played well last year. There's no question about that. But yeah, no, they love their corners. They have 3 of them right off the bat that are really, really good. And that's before we even talk about the draft pick of Cam Mitchell. They have 3 safeties who are really, really solid. When you play 4, are you going to play a linebacker? When you play 4 DNs, 4 pass rushers, you're going to play a linebacker. Are you going to play an extra corner? Could you use Grant Delpit there? They are not hurting for talent on the defensive side of the ball either. Could you use another defensive tackle, maybe who's got a little bit more veteran experience? Yes, but it's deep. We talk about the offensive side of the ball and how deep it is there, but it's pretty deep on the defensive side of the ball. And, when you're a guy like Jim Schwartz, what do you want to do? You want to cover and get after quarterbacks. Well, he seems pretty suited to this point to be able to do just that.
The other thing that nobody is really stating about Jim Schwartz, there isn't anything in game that anybody is going to do to him that he hasn't seen before. So I think the in-game adjustments that are going to be made, they're going to be a significant upgrade from what we had a year ago. And I'm not trying to take a shot at Joe Woods, even if it sounds like I am.
Well, all right. Okay. Let's go back to the second Bengal game and what happened 5 days after on Friday. Defensive back coach Todd Graham tries to tell everybody that after Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins left the game, it got harder to defend the Bengals passing game. It got harder. And even if you thought this or remotely thought this, how would you ever say this to anyone? And that just tells you right there is, well, what were you all? For me, it becomes really simple. All right, cover 1 all the way around, and okay, you go with Jamar Chase and Denzel Ward wherever he goes. All right, that's it. Game plan done. Yeah. I just which means you weren't really trying to either A, change things, or you were so stuck on what you thought was going to work that you were too proud, or did you just realize by that point you knew your goose was cooked and you just did what you did? But yeah, come on. And Jim Schwartz, and when we talk about the history of Jim Schwartz and we talk about obviously great affiliation with great defensive line play, Albert Haynesworth is the name we mentioned. Nobody's talked about Albert Haynesworth in about a decade and a half. So you're not bringing anything new to Jim Schwartz that Jim Schwartz has not seen before. And obviously plenty of stops, and he's been in the AFC, he's been in the NFC. Jim Schwartz, it was the have to hire. I know a lot of us, we're hoping and thinking maybe about Brian Flores, but with that, and the fact that Brian Flores still has some issues with the NFL legally, yes, they did interview him, but yes, Jimmy Haslam, who is part of, the good old boy network of the NFL, you had a hard time believing that even if they truly loved him, they would hire him. You knew it was most likely going to be Jim Schwartz's job to lose. And I think they got the guy that they truly need because Coach Stefanski can just focus on evolving the offense to Deshaun Watson and basically tell Jim, if you need something, I'm on speed dial.